Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Barakah HaKodash, which means all praises to Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Bahasham means in the name. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Barakah HaKodash means in the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, the only way you can worship the Father and the Son. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity. And I'm not sure the title of this lesson just yet. I think I'm going to entitle it "There's No Peace to the Wicked," something along those lines. But it's pretty much based off this peace agreement that's called the Abraham Accords, which was signed by Israel and United Arab Emirates for peace in the Middle East. You know, and they came to the White House to I guess make it official or whatever. But without further ado, man, let's just get into it. Let's start with this. This is the book of Isaiah 48:22. It says, "There is no peace, saith Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, unto the wicked." You see? So them signing peace agreements and deals, man, it's a fulfillment of prophecy. Let's go to First Thessalonians 5, and let's start at 1. It says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." You see? So while all this peace and safety talk is going on, right? Really, the Lord is preparing all these nations to go to war, man. You know? Because it says, oh, well, I got a, matter of fact, I'll just read this article right here. It says, injuries reported after rockets fired from Gaza as Bahrain, if I'm saying that correctly, and UAE signed peace deal with Tel Aviv at the White House. It says multiple rockets have been fired from Gaza towards Israeli cities during the UAE Bahrain peace deal signing in Washington. Israeli anti-aircraft defenses have been activated and at least 6 people were reportedly injured. Rocket warning sirens were activated in southern Israeli states late on Tuesday as the ceremony to sign a U.S. brokered deal between Tel Aviv, Bahrain, and the UAE was underway in Washington. The sirens were sounded in the coastal cities of Ascalon and Ashdod. Footage from the scene shows damaged vehicles and shattered glass at the site of the rocket impact, man. You see? So it ain't gonna be no peace over there in that place, man. And here it is, they signing peace agreements and peace deals. Well, according to the prophecy, when Israel was placed back in that land, it would be peace throughout the world. Not just the so-called peace in the Middle East, but throughout the world, man. But even when they signed this deal, what happened? The same day, rockets were fired. And it's the same thing that happened during the Balfour Declaration, right? Or during the implementation of it. Because the Balfour Declaration was declared during the World War I around 1915, 16, 17, around there, if I'm not mistaken. Matter of fact, it says the Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government. And once again, it's the British. Once again, it's Esau Edom, man. Here it is. You got the White House. You got America issuing this peace agreement between Tel Aviv and the UAE. Well, back then you had the British government establishing a state of Israel, man. It said Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, he would place us back into that land. He would establish us, not the fucking British government. But anyway, it says the Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, then an Ottoman region with a small minority Jewish population. And it actually didn't manifest until after World War II, you know, which when the Khazars, the so-called Jews, actually went into the land. And then the same day, it was war, man, which goes against what the scripture says, which goes against prophecy, you know, because here it is. It clearly said there's no peace to the wicked. It says when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. And as we can see, what's taking place, man, you know, the same day they sign the deals or they sign this agreement, whatever you want to call it, they were shooting rockets at each other, man. You see? Now we could just go to RT and I'm going to play this little clip right here.
In a crisis, Iowans help each other. They don't put themselves first. Congressman David Young promised to...
Trump, you will see. Trump, you will see. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
Today, behind us, the United States just hosted a ceremony to consummate the normalization agreements between the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Israel. Absent from this debacle of White House theatrics is any Palestinians to represent the indigenous people of the land upon which Israel has created and violently.
And even within that, talking about the indigenous people of that land. No, you Palestinians ain't the original people of that land. That's our land, man. You understand? That the Lord is going to place us back into, right? But
maintains its colonial state.
Right, because we just get the scripture, man. This is the book of Ezekiel 36:1. It says, also thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Thus saith the Lord of power, because the enemy hath said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. So our enemies is speaking against us, and they're bragging about how they have our possessions or they have our land in their possession. Verse 3. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord of power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are infamy of the people, right? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're what, man? We're the bywords and the proverbs of the earth. When you go to all these different cultures, all these different nations and these different societies, they all got some type of byword or proverb for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. In the book of Lamentations, it says, is this the daughter of perfection? Is this the daughter of beauty? Right? So they look at us and wag the hand like the prophecy says. But anyway, this verse 4. It says, therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord power. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. That word Idumea is Adawam, right? Adawam, which is Edom. You see? So this is the Greek way of saying Esau, Edom, right? It says, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart. Then we just read that with the Balfour Declaration. You see? With despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey, you know? And that's exactly what they doing, man. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3:1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, that word bring again is shawab, right? The Lord is bringing us out of our captivity. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. You see? So that land belongs to us, not the people that's dwelling in that land today. So they fighting over a land that's not ours. See, in the book of Isaiah, it clearly tells us, this Isaiah 1:7, it says, your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. So these heathens are there in our land, man, as it is written. Let's get that, right? This is the book of Zechariah 9:6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. And that word bastard goes into a fake, a phony, or a fraud, man. So you have these so-called Jews dwelling in the land of Ashdod, and going back, right? And going back to this RT article. Where did it say? It says the sirens were sounded in the coastal cities of Ashkelon and Ashdod. A bastard is dwelling there, man. Which is why judgment is happening to these heathens. You see? Because when true Israel, when you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, when the true Israelites get back into our land, it will be peace throughout the land. According to Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, according to Micah, the 4th chapter, according to, Isaiah 11, right? Multiple scriptures, man. When the true Israelites are back into the land, they shall beat their swords in the plowshares and their spears in the pruning hooks. And it says, nation shall not learn war anymore, man. Matter of fact, let's get that. Showing you what the Lord said versus what's going on in this earth. This is no, that's Isaiah the 2nd chapter. I'm sorry. This is Isaiah 2 and 4. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords in the plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. Right? And that's going to happen when Israel is back into their land, when Israel is exalted. The true Israelites. Which is this is how we know that those frauds, those phonies, those bastards that's in the land of Israel right now, they're not the true people, man. So let's go back to this video.
This is just another sorrowful link in the long chain of Zionism. Zionism tells the world that peace will be achieved by recognizing the state of Israel. We are saying that the state of Israel, God does not recognize. It's a terrorist state is a state.
And what he's saying is true, man. The Most High don't recognize because the true people is not in that land. You see, the Lord said He chose the land for the people's sake, man. Right? So that's not that place technically shouldn't even be called Israel, right? Because the Israelites are not in that place, man.
That is oppressing the Palestinian people, the Arabs, and the Jews.
I think it's a campaign show, if you will. They call it a peace agreement. But really, when you say peace, that means there was war, and now you want peace. There was no war between United Arab Emirates and Israel. All right, so it's not really a peace agreement. It's like I said, it's a political show. The timing for it, I mean, you have to be an idiot to believe that the timing was not staged because of the election. It's not about peace. It's once again, you know, normalizing the relationship with an occupier is totally unacceptable.
See, so look at what this so-called peace agreement is causing, man. It's causing more turmoil, right? Because there's no peace to the wicked, as we read in the book of Isaiah. And that's just one video. It says trilateral peace deal sparks protests in Bahrain, right? It says Israeli rockets hit Gaza hours after trilateral peace deal. You see? So there ain't gonna be no peace to the wicked, man. You know, Esau, Edom, his job is not to bring peace unto the earth. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6, and 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red. Why is this horse red? Well, let's get the book of Genesis 25 and 25. It says, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? Now we jump over to what is that? Genesis 36 and 8. It says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. So when we read about the Idumeans taking the land of Israel into their possession, well, the Idumeans is Edom, which is Esau. You see? And he came out red, which is what? The lack of pigmentation, which is the curse of leprosy that's upon him, right? So let's go back. This is Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red, right? Which represents Esau, Edom. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. You see? And when we go to that, this is the book of Genesis 27. It says what? It was given unto him to take peace from the earth. This is Genesis 27. And let's get verse. Let's start at 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, meaning he would have the rulership, right? And by thy sword shalt thou live and shalt serve thy brother. So he would get the rulership by the sword. You see? It says, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And that's what happened, man. You know, during the time of our kings, right? During the time of the kings of Judah, Esau rebelled against them, and he established himself and he been on his own ever since, man. He broke that yoke off, and he was given dominion, right? Through the Greeks. This is Job 9 and 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Let's get that word wicked. Rashai, right? Wicked, criminal, guilty one guilty of crime. See, this guy's the fugitive, man. Going all the way back to Cain. That's why Esau was born red, because that mark of Cain, that the mark of leprosy, right? That was put upon Cain, Esau was born with it, because that is Cain being reborn. You understand? It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So who covered the faces of the Most High? Who covered the faces of the Israelites? Who covered the faces of Yahweh Shai? You see? Esau Edom put his images all over the world as him being the judge, as him being the Most High. This is the book of First Maccabees. Is it 3 and 48? Yep, it's First Maccabees 3 and 48, and laid open. This was during the time of the Greeks, by the way, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. And that's exactly what Esau Edom did. You see, because he is the wicked, going to Malachi 1 and 4. It says they shall be called the border of wickedness. Matter of fact, let's get it. It's Malachi 1 and 4. It says, where is Edom? Where is Idumea? Right? Where is Esau? Saith, we are impoverished. And what happened? That was during the so-called Dark Ages, man. Right? That was when we chased them up into the Caucasus Mountains. You see, that was the fall of Rome, the deadly that deadly wound that was put on them. It says, but we will return and build the desolate places, and that's their Renaissance, right? That's them coming back into power around the 1400s. You see, thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, have indignation forever. You see, because there's a judgment that's coming upon this place. That's why we read in 1 Thessalonians, it said what? It says that when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them, man. There is no peace unto the wicked. There's judgment that's coming unto them. Let's go back to the book of Joel. This is the book of Joel, because this is the times we living in, man. We're not living in the times of peace, right? We're not living in the times of prosperity and everything being. No, we're living in the time of war. This is the book of Joel 3 and 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. See, this is Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai's purpose, man. This is his plan according to Zephaniah 3 and 8. His determination is to gather the nations, to pour upon them his indignation, man. That's why it says we are not in darkness as the others. We are not asleep like others, man. When they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come upon them. The Lord is going to come as the thief in the night. So these people think everything is going to be okay, but no, great destruction is coming upon this place, man. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And this is exactly what we're seeing. You know, all these different nations are putting their resources, or putting their money into what? Into their military, into their guns, into their missiles, right? Into their military as a whole. Building new aircrafts, building new warships, so forth and so on, right? Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. And this is the time we living in. The mighty ones are the angels. And it says, cause thy mighty ones to come down. That's why the chariot sightings is increasing more and more as the day approach, man. Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, man. So a great judgment is coming upon this place. You see? Matter of fact, let's get the book of 2nd Esdras. So 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 20. It says, behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another, and to repay the things that they have done to them. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord power, man. So the Lord got a judgment that's going to come upon our enemies, right? And let's find out who our enemies are. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83. And I'll start at the top. It says, a song or psalm of Asaph. It says, keep not thou silent, O power. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. It's talking about the Israelites, man, right? They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. And that's what happened. We discontinue from our heritage through what? Through oppression, through affliction, man. You could watch the movie Roots and what took place in the movie Roots, man. Kunta Kinte was getting beat, and the Edomite that was beating him every time asked him what his name was. He said Kunta Kinte. He would hit him again and say, no, your name is Toby. So they beat the language out of us. They beat our heritage out of us, man. Right? It says they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, meaning that we wouldn't remember who we are. But what it says in Baruch, it says in the land of our captivities, we shall remember ourselves, man. So the name of Israel is brought back into remembrance. And now we're standing upon our feet. According to Ezekiel 37, according to Revelation, the 11th chapter, right? It says verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And you see them joining together, man. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. That's it. That's the Abraham Accord that was just signed. Esau, Edom, which is what? Donald Trump and fucking Benjamin Netanyahu. Both of them are Edomites, man. And then you had the UAE president, United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain, right? Those are both Ishmaelites, man. That's the first two that's named, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, right? Going into of Moab is the so-called Chinese. The Hagarenes is more Ishmaelites, the sons of Hagar, right? Gabal and Ammon, Ammon being the Japanese. Now, when you go into this Gabal, it says a region in Idumea, but it's also a region in Israel, in Phoenicia, which is the land of Canaan, which is Israel. So it could be Hamites or it can be Edomites. With either or, they heathens and they getting a judgment coming upon their ass. You see? So it says Gabal and Ammon and Amalek. That's your so-called Jews right there. You see? The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. They're your Hamites. Ashur also is joined with them. That's the Assyrians. So they would be counted as Arabs today. They have holpen the children of Lot Salah. And the children of Lot is Moab and Ammon. So you got those different Asian countries, man. the Koreas, right? And what the fuck is the other one? The Thailands and so forth and so on, man. Which is mixed. You got Jake, Japheth, and Moab and Ammon all throughout there. But the point is that judgment is coming upon these heathen, man. You know? And we can see it manifesting. See, while they trying to make their moves and trying to counteract or whatever the hell they trying to do, look at what the Lord is doing, man. Here it is. They signed a peace treaty, right? And then judgment happened unto their ass right after that, man. Israeli rockets hit Gaza hours after trilateral peace deal. Same thing that took place when they went into our land during the 1940s, when they implemented the fucking Balfour Declaration, man. You know? So there's no peace to the wicked, man. So great destruction has come upon this place. So Lord willing, I hope that was edifying. Thawadi Yahweh Basham Yahushua for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. I'm going to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushua, Baruch HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and sincerity, always in charity. Shalom.